Final Fantasy Tactics Ivalice Chronicles has had a pretty successful launch. Most people loved it, and for good reason. Tactics was one of those games that had tons of knowledge checks that could stop you cold in your tracks if you couldn't figure out how to navigate a fight. But once you knew, it opened up a whole world of inventive strategies and overpowered characters. It had depth for those who really wanted to deep dive into the game. I made a video before explaining why I thought this remake was worth the $50, but I only focused on the positives. Today, I'm going to do the opposite and talk about things that didn't quite hit the mark. Because as great as Ivalice Chronicles is, it's not without its flaws. Now before we get started, yes, I'm disappointed that none of the War of the Lions content made it in. The extra story missions, classes, characters, and multiplayer would have gone a long way. But that topic's been done to death, so I'm going to focus on other issues that stood out to me. Besides trophy support, Tactician Mode was the new feature I looked forward to the most. The description promised challenging battles, and I believed it. Come to find out, it's actually no harder. Instead, what they actually did was add in 2 easier modes. It still had its moments where enemies offered some resistance before being felled. However, I was really excited for something new that would have pushed my knowledge to the limits. Stuff like smarter AI, better enemy builds, formations, or scaling. Instead, I have to turn to mods or self-imposed limitations, like skipping non-story encounters or limiting actions that I wouldn't normally do, such as sit in a corner spamming focus. Voice acting was another major selling point for the remake, and when it's good, it adds emotion to the scenes that text can't convey. I was actually somewhat excited to hear how these lines would come to life, and use the English voices instead of Japanese. Unfortunately, a lot of the performances felt uneven. Some characters sounded great.
Stop this, deleter! Release me! Damn you, Ramza! Release me! It's as I've always said. Common blood, common man. You'll never be more than you were born, deleter. You don't belong in our world. You should be licking our boots with the rest of your ilk, churl. That does it.
But others came off as amateurish, like they grabbed a few drama club students and handed them a mic.
Corpse Brigade again. Corpse Brigade again.
It actually got to the point where I stopped caring about it altogether. I had imagined how these lines should sound for years, and when they came out differently, it broke the immersion. Honestly, if this is it, I would have preferred no voice acting at all, just text and my own imagination. One thing I will say though is that the original War of the Lion cutscenes with voiceovers were fantastic. The lead's voice in the War of the Lions version of Blade of Grass hit all the right emotions: sadness, anger, and despair.
Do not say that. If a thing can be endeavored, it
Will endeavor grant me an army? I would save Tetra with these hands, if aught were in my power to do. But I cannot. 'Tis my meager lot in this life.
Ivalice Chronicles redid them and just didn't land the same way.
will endeavor grant me an army, Ramza. I would save teacher with these hands if such were in my power. But I cannot. 'Tis my meager lot in this life.
It's not terrible, it's just hard to ignore when I've already heard a stronger performance. It's a little disappointing that the better version wasn't included in the game. Ivalice Chronicles also come with a wide range of quality of life features. However, they are also missing some things, like a chat log. Between the new voice acting and turbo mode, I often skip through dialogue by accident, trying to get through some scenes a little bit faster. A chat history would have been perfect for reviewing missed lines or story moments. Other series like Hiseki nailed this, giving us both a normal text log and voice feel banter history. For a $50 remake, this seems like a basic miss. Death cries have also been redone with voiceovers, which is a downgrade in my opinion. Sometimes they make remarks and sometimes they just let out some half-baked cry. In the original, those screams echoed through my TV. They sounded raw and desperate, and it fit perfectly with the tone of war and death. It's a small thing, but it added a lot to the atmosphere. Visually, Ivalice Chronicles looks fine, but the art direction feels a bit too safe. The smoothing filters make characters look almost balloon-like, losing some of that pixel-sharp grit that defined the original. Square has proven that it can create visually stunning pixel art with their HD 2D releases like Octopath Traveler and The Adventures of Elliot, but decided to take the easier route. With roughly having to start over from scratch, it would have been cool if they were able to keep the old look while touching it up to keep the details. At the end of the day, Ivalice Chronicles is still Final Fantasy Tactics, and that's what we're really paying for. A modern way to play a legendary game. But when it's being sold for nearly the price of a new game, and it's not even the definitive edition, the quality of life improvements and polish need to feel complete. And right now, they don't. This doesn't mean that I'm against this release. I still think it was $50 well spent, and I played the hell out of it. But that doesn't mean I'll ignore its flaws. I love this game enough to expect better. Hopefully there will be future patches that can tighten up these rough spots, because there's definitely room for improvement. And that's it from me. Until next time, keep grinding, keep exploring, and I'll see you on the next adventure.